This game kind of came out of nowhere for me. I was just trying to find something to play, and funny enough, I started watching the Berserker anime, and if I'm being honest, I'm not really the guy who is good at Souls-like games. Like, I love to try them out. I've tried Elden Ring, I've tried Sekiro, thought about trying Lies of P, I've tried No Rest for the Wicked. Just the issue is I'm not really good at these games, like at all. I tried Sekiro probably like 5 times at this point, and the first stream that I did playing this game, I was stuck at the ogre for a solid 2 hours. What does... oh fuck. Leave me alone. So you just know what the situation is, but with this game, I don't know why, I just enjoyed the combat itself even more than the mentioned games. And if I'm being honest, like, I think if you've never played Souls-like games, this would be like a very good entry point, since usually people would say something like Dark Souls 3, and I've never really tried those games if I'm being honest. But overall, like, so far that what I've played, I really enjoy the game. Like, the combat itself, it's pretty straightforward. It features RPG elements as well, where you can upgrade certain stats, you can unlock certain attacks, and I haven't really gotten that deep into the RPG elements. Like, for me so far it's only been fighting and dying. And the combat itself, as I said, is pretty straightforward. You basically have a light attack that you can basically chain. So the more you spam the light attack, it's basically going to be a combination of attacks which together are going to deal more damage, as well as a heavy attack or a charged heavy attack. Now, of course, everything uses up stamina, like from blocking, dodging, and attacking. So this is like the Sekiro element. So you have to be mindful of that stamina at all times, since if you run out of it, you will be basically stuck for around 2 seconds. But you really don't notice those 2 seconds that much. Like, even like in a boss fight, for me, I ran out of stamina multiple times, but they kind of give you like room to breathe, if I'm being honest. So you don't, as I said, you don't really feel like those 2 seconds that you have to stay like somewhat still. Because like as soon as you get like a little bit of stamina back, you're already back to moving. Like, you're not just stuck sitting there and getting your shit kicked in. But one feature that I absolutely love about this game, for basically a noob like myself, is the fact that when you want to upgrade your stats, so I'm just gonna call them runes, even though they might not be called that, is whenever you attempt a boss fight, and this is every time, not just the first time, you earn a certain amount of those runes. Now, if you fail the boss fight, you're able to retrieve them from the area like before you enter the boss fight, which by itself is great, since if you're like really struggling with the boss and you've done it like 5-10 times maybe, you're able to like collect them before you enter the boss fight and go back to the sword where you upgrade your stats. And you just like upgrade your stats and like maybe just like make life a little bit easier for you. So that feature I'm very happy about. But when it comes to combat, for the most part, what I've noticed is that dodging by itself is good when it comes to certain attacks. Like here, if you're watching the Utica fight, like by itself, like dodging, as I said, it's like a viable, but for the most part, blocking is probably the better idea. Like, even though like sometimes you think like, oh yeah, I can just dodge this attack, like, yeah, no, you can't. Like, the range on some of these attacks are just insane, so it's better to just like time the block and go on with like attacking the enemy instead. But like by itself, like what I do love about this game for the most part is the fact that so far there haven't been any of those like huge AoE attacks that you just have like no idea how to dodge, because that's like a thing that for whatever reason exists in Souls-like games, and I'm just like, yeah, nah dude, I'm not doing this. And while some of them are a thing, and for example the Iliga fight that I've done, they're not really that annoying. Like I think that it's quite easy to dodge, so you're not really gonna be having a hard time with that. But enough about gameplay, let's also touch upon the story like a little bit. So basically the story is about Khazan, who is a commander, and at the start it shows a cinematic about him being a captive who is then possessed by a demon or spirit, so like one of those two entities, and they want to overtake his body, where of course Khazan is like, yeah, nah dude, like I'm not gonna let you do that. And the story is basically about him trying to find a way to get rid of these entities. And of course these demons aren't really too happy about that, where they even mock him for trying to do that. Later down the line you are also met with some NPCs who give you advice on what you will have to do. I'm really trying to keep this like spoiler free for you guys, so far this is what I'm going to say when it comes to the story. I'm trying to, as I said, keep it very vague and not get into that much detail, because at the same time I haven't gotten really that deep into the story itself yet. So if you watched this far into the video, thank you so much for doing that. And if you've been thinking about trying out this game, I would really recommend it. As I said, like even if you're not that good at Souls-like games, I think that you actually might enjoy this one. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, good luck in the game.